Hi, I'm Stephen Hay from Archery Supplies. This is the new PSE Sicario. It's a fast carbon bow. So, bit of background about this bow. PSE have been making these carbon bows for years. They've been really durable. Been great selling bows for PSE because they're so light. That's basically the reason. The draw cycle's smooth. They're a very light bow. People like shooting them because if you're out hunting, you're not carrying around so much weight, right? So now some older people also like this bow. Well, I say this bow, the PSE Carbon bows, because it is light. Okay, so what makes the PSE Carbon bow different to other carbon bows? This is a foam filled riser with carbon wrapped around it. So Hegith have some aluminium framing with carbon wrapped around it. Elite's all carbon. Bowtech has aluminium, then carbon. So this is light, okay? Now, what's changed? The cams, they've made them faster. They've reduced the brace height down to 5 1/4. So this bow should be a bit twitchier to aim, right? Now, PSE would say that it's got an effective brace height of 6.5 inches because the cams move back, and I haven't shot it. I just know that a longer brace height is less twitchy than a shorter brace height. I know that shorter brace heights are faster because you're pulling it back more. Why are you pulling it back more if you've got 29-inch draw? Because if a brace height's 6 inches or 7 inches, you're only drawing back 22 inches. If the brace height's 5 inches and you've got a 29-inch draw, you're drawing back 24 inches. So you get an extra 2 inches of power than a 7-inch brace height, so you're going to be faster. This bow is like almost 357 feet per second. Now, I saw some podcasts and some YouTube guys go, fastest bow ever. Bull, right? Just bull. Like, the full throttle's the fastest. It's the way it is. It's 370. This is not the fastest bow ever. You might say it's the fastest bow in 2026. Yeah, look, okay. But what makes this bow, and where does it sort of sit? It's got a yoke system here, which pulls evenly. PSE has been using this for a number of years. It's fine. It's a good system. Rotating modules, PSE has been using for a number of years. They're fine. Very easy to adjust. A being the biggest. If you think draw length, think if you grow the module, you grow the draw length. Okay, so you make the module bigger, you make the draw length bigger. Now, what has changed is the draw stop. See here, the draw stop, that's changed. Now, it used to be a little dot of rubber in here which used to come out. So PSE's changed this. Now, whether this rubber will come out or not, I don't know. It's just new. So you move this forward or back. At the moment, you see it's set on maximum let off. Moving it forward reduces let off. A very simple system. Now, I would say PSE has beefed up the module. I would still like 2 edges on this module. So a lot of the modules, this little thing here, have 2 edges, one on each side. I would prefer that. Okay, so but PSE tends to run just the one edge. Yeah, they're still running the one edge, which means this string will generally rub up against the cam here when you draw it back. You've got a roller cable slide system. This is good. It stops the cables moving back and forward. Now, I got a question today from the person who's actually going to buy this bow about fitting an ARS to it, because he said with a short brace height, aren't these cables going to get in the way? No, they're not, because the cables are held back. So with a normal bow, like a full throttle, when the cables move forward, they're going to come in and hit the ARS. With this, they can't. Okay, so that's good. Now, it's not an adjustable cable guard. Some bows have adjustable cable guard. I haven't seen the benefit of an adjustable cable guard, and people go, well, it's for tuning. Like, no. Like, just no. Like, PSE have their tuning system. The only bow now on the market without a tuning system, even the Chinese have tuning systems now, is Hegith. Okay? This here, you need a bow press. You unplug these. You plug in the size you want. These things cost around $100 for a set of them. They don't come with the bow. You have to buy it if you want to tune it, and you need a bow press to do that. The paint finish comes in a few colors. Look, this feels durable, it feels hard. When I say hard, it's a coarse finish. It's nice to hold on to. It doesn't feel slippery. The black one I thought felt slippery, but I'm comfortable with it. I shot in the rain on the weekend with the slippery bow, shot fine. Metal limb pockets, there's no locking system here. So this tuning system compared to others, look, Bowtech arguably has the best tuning system where the cams move backwards and forwards. Then I'm going to say probably Elite has the next best tuning system where it lever tilts. Why is that better than Darton, who has the limbs that go like this? And there's a few other companies out that have limbs where you wind up the limbs individually, which PSE invented, by the way. It's just PSE haven't capitalized on that idea. Now, if you're going to buy one of these bows and the dealer's going to buy you some new tell you to buy some new strings, tell your dealer to go jump. And I understand you're going to make 50 or 60 bucks if you're the dealer from putting new strings on the bow. You might even make 100. Or if you like some shops, you make 200, right? Look, if you don't need to spend money, don't spend money. These are made on a computer. They're perfectly good. I've had very little peep rotation with these. In fact, I've never had a PSE string set I've had a problem with, okay? So these strings will be fine. Look, they're not, what's it called when you blend the string down? Look, they don't do that. This is made on a computer, but they're fine. Just go shoot. The grip feels like every PSE before it. The quiver system bolts onto the cable guard, bolts on there, it's good. It's nice and light. I think it's about 3 pounds. These are the tags. It's got 5 turns of wind out, which means about, here's the signatures of the people who checked it. Someone checked the item, someone checked the graphics, someone checked the riser, someone checked the final bow, and they've checked the poundage of the bow to be 73 pounds. That's excellent. And it's really good when someone is actually checking it and just not signing it off. So sometimes people sign, but they haven't actually checked. I'm not having to go at PSE because I'm not actually having to go at PSE. It's just other manufacturers do this, and they haven't clearly checked the stuff because there's problems, and you couldn't have drawn back the bow if there was the problems. So the draw length is adjustable from 24.5 to 30 inches. It's preset at 29 inches, 33 inches axle, which is comfortable, 85% let off. I think that's about all you need to know. So this is a 70-pound bow. It'll go back to 60. I haven't drawn this bow. I haven't shot this bow. These are speed knocks. They increase the speed. Let's see what it feels like. So for me, if I was buying a carbon bow, and I'm buying a carbon bow because it's light, I would go for one with a bigger brace height, because for me, accuracy is everything. Just don't have these things popping out when you shoot, so tuck them in, because you don't want to hit them. Not that I probably would, but it's not a great day today. It's been rainy all weekend. Horrible weekend for the state championships. Okay, so let's try the draw. Oh, so it comes back nice. I'm going to shoot the shot. So you can tell that you're drawing the bow back more than a normal bow, because I'm starting off here with the poundage. My body's not used to that. I feel like I'm drawing. Where I said I'm drawing back an extra 2 inches with this bow. It's smooth. It doesn't drop into the valley like, the valley's short, so don't think you've got much. The valley's short. It doesn't dump into the valley like some bows. It's quite easy to draw. It's not a bad draw. It's not like a full throttle, which I own. I own a full throttle. The shot, when you make the shot, you can tell it's fast, but it's not fast like a full throttle. The full throttle, bang, it's gone. You got a Picatinny mount here, which we've moved it. We've moved it the other way so we can fit a normal sight to it. Normally it's the other way for the normal pick mount. Where the cable guard goes in here, it's connected to here. What I'm thinking in my head when I do these reviews is, do I prefer these cams or do I prefer an EC cam? Now, in all my reviews, the things I like tunability, I like draw length adjustment, PSE draw length adjustment. I'm going to argue is maybe when I say the best, it's the easiest. Not the best as far as like you've got 1/2 inch increments here. Like the Elites, you can do like 1/4 inch or whatever. So it's not the most adjustable. Bowtech's the same as this. But it's probably the easiest, quickest to change draw length. Can you tell 1/4 inch? No, I can't. I struggle to tell 1/2 inch of difference in draw length. I had one bow set at 28.5, one bow at 29. I didn't know they were identical bows, and I shot them both equally. So my draw length is, I think, between 28.5 and 29. And sometimes, like all my reviews I do on 29, this bow will be factory set at 29. If anything, it probably feels a little bit, I feel like it feels a little bit short for me, but I wouldn't want to go longer, but it just, some bows feel long and some feel short at the same draw length. I don't know why. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I don't know if I prefer it to the normal carbon bow, but you're picking up an extra 357 to a 335, 20 feet per second. Now, I've been doing a whole bunch of videos about speed, so I can tell you what 20 feet per second is. 20 feet per second is 20 grains on your arrow. So, does it mean much? 20 grains, so it's like using a 120 grain point to a 100 grain point. It's cool having a fast bow. It is, like, it just means you can shoot lighter arrows and just be like really fast. And I said, because someone was asking me today, you know, like what was 10 feet? And I said on my recurve, 50-pound recurve, the difference between the 20 grains was that much on my sight at 90 meters. So it's not like it's a huge amount, it's that much. But it enabled my arrows to be flatter, and the guy I'm shooting next to goes, like, your arrows are moving less than half of mine in the height thing. So, like, for the average punter, there's nothing in it. I would choose a more forgiving bow. I would choose the ECS normal 33, the normal carbon bow for the average punter every day of the week. Okay? But saying that, if you're a hunter, you're probably going to be hunting 30 meters. Or if you are hunting longer distances, like some of the hunters who practice longer distances, the faster bow is going to reduce your gaps. So the question is going to be, can you shoot a bow with a shorter brace height as well as a bow with a longer brace height? That's the question. Because you're picking up more speed, which means your judging distance is going to be better. But most hunters are going to use a rangefinder. Feels good. Now, I went like this. Why did I go like that? Because I thought I was hitting the valley. I wasn't. There's like this. I thought I was getting to the valley. I'm just reducing my tension. I'm like, no, it's like increasing again. You don't get that with the EC cam. The EC cam just draws back smooth all the way. So it's because of this shape here somewhere is giving you that. Now, the more you shoot a cam, the more you'll get used to it, and that won't happen. I like the shot, it feels powerful. Right, so I'm going to go back to 18 and see how well I shoot with it. Bear in mind today is horrible, there's a fair bit of wind kicking around, so if I don't group, in all my reviews I generally shoot better with bows which are, I'm going to say, generally longer but bigger brace heights I generally shoot better with, and bows that are draw back smoother I generally shoot better with. It's a rule of thumb, so I'm going to be interested to see how much wobble I get left to right with the shorter brace height. I like the grip, I like the paintwork. Price point, $2,700 in Australia, which means it's probably cheaper than most of the other carbon bows on the market. It's more popular than any other carbon bow on the market. So really the question gets down to, do you prefer the faster bow or the smoother bow? That's where you're going to get down to. But like, it's pretty good. So let's go back at 18 and see how well I shoot. Okay, so I'm back at 18. How do I think I'm going to... I haven't hit the gold yet, okay? So let's just... So if PSE gets angry at me for not hitting gold, that's okay. I'm more interested in the groups. So my last arrow was high in the 9, a little bit to the right. So I've made the adjustment on the sight and we're just going to shoot. Because I'm more interested, I think my sights would be right, but I'm more interested in the grouping. I'm interested to see how I shoot, because the normal carbon bow, it's very easy to draw, very easy to shoot. I find it very stable, and this feels to me like a blend of a speed bow and a smooth bow. So if I get back to shooting the full throttle, which I own, I can shoot that bow amazing, and then I can miss the target. And so I was going around a field course and I was like bang, 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 hitting all the shots, and then I missed. Okay? Just one shot. And how many times does that happen? It's just happened to me. It exaggerates the bad shots. Okay? So if you're a good shot, you're a good shot. But if you're an average shot, then it's going to make your bad shots worse, much worse, right? So that's where I feel like I'm at with this bow. I'm like, do I love it enough in the speed and the grunt that I'm not getting the smoothness and I'm not getting the brace height that I'm getting with the normal carbon bow? Let's see how I shoot. Last time I shot, I don't know which bow I shot, but I shot it amazing. I really can't remember. It might have been Elite I shot. Now these are the arrows I shot last time. These are Panderas Alpha X's, $70 a dozen. And it's not a sales job for Panderas. It's just I grabbed them and I'm like, oh, well, let's shoot these, and I shot my best groups, and I'm like, $70 a dozen. Let's see how we go. Now you would know where that went. I don't know where it went, so I can't even... The shot broke well, it feels nice, feels significantly faster than the... It feels significantly faster than the... I'm just going to not shoot this arrow. The knock feels loose. If your knock feels loose on the string, there may be a crack in it, so you might go back to that arrow. On the weekend I shot an arrow. I don't know if my arrow fell off the rest, but it went at 90 degrees. Marla was sitting in front of me while I'm shooting, and the arrow goes bang off to the side, which is why your dog should always be behind you. My dog's in front of me. having a bark like she normally does. So I don't know if the knock broke or the arrow fell off the bow and then whacked into the bow, but it slapped me in the arm. It was a bit scary. The next shot was fine. I can't even see where that is. So, I'm going to say when you draw back a bow that's smoother, you draw it back and the instant you get into your anchor point, you're actually aimed at the goal, where this bow, I'm aimed off. So I'm not aimed in the middle, where normally I'm aimed in the middle. So, take from that what you will. I prefer the smoother draw, but it feels better having a faster bow to shoot, especially for hunting and for 3D. My mum's got a field range. I like speed for there. Feels good when the bows are flat and fast. Look, I'm not seeing the twitchiness that I can see. I'm going to say I'm not aiming as well. It's not my sight pins moving, it's pretty good. I'm just not aiming as well. I don't know if that's the bow or just me, fatigue, confidence. It could be confidence. Sometimes aiming is a lot about confidence. And maybe these arrows are going together, I don't know, I can't see. Now the other thing with the shorter brace height, you're going to go closer to your wrist. So if you're not holding your arm correctly, you're going to whack your arm. So I'm going to discuss grip. Knuckles are at 45. The bow sits there, not like this. Grip is the most important thing in the whole shot process. Of all the people I teach to shoot, no one's derailed their bow. And we see 2 derails a week in my shop. They're always like people are like, yeah, I know how to shoot. I'm not even gonna go at them. I'm really not. It's just 2 every week. And none from anyone I've ever taught. So normally when you aim, you can see the bow pin move around, okay? This is a lighter bow. So what that means is it won't hold as steady for you as a heavier bow will, if you're strong enough, okay? So there's a guy in my club shooting a PSE Carbon bow for target. He's, I'm gonna say plus 60s. Hey, look, he might even be plus 70s, but I think he's plus 60s. Anyway, shot his personal best with it. He's got a PSE Super as well, a target bow, but he shot his best with a carbon bow. He's recovering from an injury, so he's shooting a carbon. But the carbon bow is lighter, so it generally moves around more than a heavier bow. And that's what I'm seeing now. I'm seeing my sight picture not being as steady as I would with some other bows. hope they're hitting the target. I really, like, I don't, I feel like I'm missing, and I might be. I've got no concept where they're going. I don't know if the arrows are hitting each other. I'll shoot this one, then we'll look, because I can't see anything. It's just nothing. I can see some shadows, and the shadows are right on the right of the gold. So if that is the case, I can only see one shadow. So there's one shadow coming down, and I've shot several arrows, so maybe they're all in the middle. So today, customer rings me up, not a customer, just a person rings him up for advice. I want to buy a Matthews 27-inch bow from America. What do you suggest? I do these videos to educate, okay? Because I don't want to deal with these phone calls. Because you're not buying the bow from me, so why am I wasting my time with you on the phone, right? Because I'm on the phone all day, literally, for 10 hours, 6-7 hours a day, answering questions, and I do these videos to educate. What do you think I'm going to say about a 27-inch bow for a beginner? What am I going to say? What are things about this bow I liked? Draw length adjustability. Doesn't Matthews have draw length adjustability? No, because you've got to buy modules, which means when you buy the bow, you're going to have to buy modules to find it, which are $120. And then when you buy the modules, they're probably not going to be right. You're going to need another module, so think about every time you change this draw length here, it costing you $120. Then when you go to sell the bow, because you want to buy a new bow, it's hard to sell because it only fits the person of that size and you can't find the modules anymore for it. Alright, so, but that's not even my hang up with this bow. What do I like? I like tunability, the ability to be able to tune the bow. See this? You can tune it. Can't tune that bow. Then what else do I like? A good grip. I like the grip on this bow. Is it as good as the Elite? I like the Elite grip. I'm very comfortable with this grip, right? I like the Elite grip because it's got a little point that comes in here that I find fits my hand really well. But this feels comfortable. I like the finish of this paint because my hand doesn't slide around the place. So I'm actually really like this grip. I feel like this is the middle of the string in this bow. I haven't measured it. I feel like this is the middle, and I feel like my grip's lower, and I'm feeling a bit of this. Not that my aim's out. I just feel it's not balanced. I don't know. It just feels like it's not in the middle. Now some bows aren't in the middle, and some bows do a different size cam, top and bottom. Okay, but grip-wise, most people rip off their Matthews grip, so I don't mind this grip. This is one of my favorite grips. What else? You're a beginner and you want a bow which is 27 inches long. Why? What's a 27-inch? This bow is 33 inches long. It means the peep sight's going to be close to your eyes. It means life's going to be easier for you. Why do you want to take a 27-inch bow to make your life difficult? Okay, the answer is to shoot from a tree stand. If you're shooting from a tree stand and you're shooting deers at 17 meters or 10 meters straight down, I understand why you want a 27-inch bow. I do. Maybe you're backpacking, you want to fit your bow in a backpack, like a gearhead bow. I get that, right? But if you're a beginner, you want a bow that you can learn to shoot with. 32 inches, really easy to shoot. This is 33, really easy to shoot, right? So then it's like, well, let's say you've got to replace the strings. This bow to replace the strings is probably 10 minutes for me, right? To replace the strings on a Matthews is, you got to drop the whole thing off. It's a bit of a problem. What am I looking at? There's going to be dealers who go, I can do it in 20 minutes. Well, maybe I can do it in 20, but maybe it's going to take me half an hour, right? Maybe it's going to take me 40 minutes. So what I'm saying is it's going to cost you extra to have the bow worked on than another branch, right? So unless you've got a love for that bow, that I really love that bow, shoot standard stuff. This bow is very standard, 33 inches. Now, the brace height is not standard at 5¼ inches. So you have to think about it. You're going to have to think, do I want more speed, more power, than with the regular bow at like 6 or 7 inch brace height? What do I want? Do I want it to be smoother, easier, or do I want more speed, more power, more hitting power? Now I'm going to say when I shot 60 pounds into pigs, the arrow went straight through and I thought I missed. Now you're going to say, well, we shoot bigger pigs with more mud on them. Oh, I'm shooting, let's say you're shooting cattle. Let's say you're shooting a sandbar. Well, look, you want 70 pounds. The question is then, do I want this bow to be 10% faster than that? Maybe you do. Maybe you're a girl and you want a bow that's 10% faster. I'm going to say, well, you're going to have to put 10% more effort in to this bow than a normal bow, right? So, do I feel this bow is 10% harder to draw than a normal bow? Maybe. Maybe not. Probably not. Not 10%. 5%, yes. Let's go and see what the arrows are like. So, I Robin Hooded an arrow. Now, I'm going to... I don't Robin Hood many arrows these days. I don't. Because I normally use pin systems, okay? So it's a pin which goes in the end and the knot goes over the end. But it's cool doing it, like... Part of the reason I do this like this, because other people don't and they do bullshit reviews and it shits me off. And I'm like, I want it to be real because I just think it's more interesting than just scripted crap. Right? Just than a sales thing. I don't know how this review is going to turn out. I'm like, and I think that's the thing which is interesting. I'm like, how's this going to turn out? So... I feel like I shot more arrows. I did. Look, they went straight through. Okay, so one of the problems of having a bow with more power, it penetrates your target more. It's going to be harder to pull your arrows out. Now, for target archery, I do target archery. You're limited to 60-pound bows. Okay, you can't go over 60-pound bows. But you can have faster bows than 60, so I was like shooting a 65 or a 67-pound bow. Is an advantage? Look, probably not. Now, on the weekend, my son shot 40 pounds in a tournament, and it was extremely windy. So 40 pounds versus a 60-pound bow, you're going to get kicked around a lot more. The arrows, he was shooting 3D HVs from Victory, which are really fast. And the day before, he was shooting 90 meters with me, and he was like grouping like this. I'm like, you could take this out. But then on the day, it was a horrible windy, like terrible. Among the worst days I've ever shot in my life. And he had some good ends and some lots of drifting. I'll talk about drifting. I'd have to aim from, if that's the middle of the target, and you're aiming there, some shots you'd aim here because there's no wind. And some shots you'd be aiming off here, and then when the wind stops, your arrows go off over here. Oh, it's crazy. It was like very strong winds. Anyway, with a lighter poundage bow, you're going to get more wind drift. Okay, heavier bow, less wind drift. Heavier arrows, less wind drift than a lighter arrow. Heavier points, less wind drift. So how do I find this bow? Look. Pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm not convinced. I'm not. For your average archer, I'm going to say stick to the EC cam from PSE, the standard cam, whatever they call it now. It's smoother. It's nicer to draw back. It's more forgiving. It's more standard. Okay. And that probably goes with any brand bow. If you've got the choice of the smoother one and the harder one, go for the smoother one because it's just easier for you. Make your life easier. If you want the hot girlfriend, it's going to come with more more problems, right? More demands. And that's what this is. This is your hot girlfriend. It's going to be a bit harder, but it's more impressive around your friends because you're both so fast. If you can shoot it well, if you can't shoot it well, then you're going to look like a bit of an ass, right? So you risk derailing this bow more so than the EC cam. The shorter brace height, you hold it wrong, you're going to whack your wrist, so you're going to look like more of an ass. But if you can shoot, if you're a good shot and you want more speed and you're looking, you know, where you judge the distances, this is okay. This is pretty good. I'm pretty okay with that group. Today's quite gusty. It's blowing around a bit. I'll show you my pine trees over here. It's probably not showing it very well, but it's quite gusty. It's quite gusty, and sometimes when I do reviews there's no wind, but there's a bit of wind around today. I'm very happy with that group. You'll need a better target bag for more power, because they're going to penetrate more. In some clubs they're just going to go straight through the target butt with more power, so just bear that in mind. So overall, with PSE, with Sicario, I think PSE has done 100% the right thing. They've taken a solid platform and put more speed on it. Fantastic. They've taken what works and just gone, yes, let's add more speed. It's a little step, and it's a good thing, and they've got the normal bow there because that's really successful. That's thumbs up in my opinion. The quivers are good. So overall, I think it's pretty good. The price point's okay. My summary is, I think I would buy this smoother draw. As much as I'd want to shoot this bow around my mum's property because it's cool, and it's like I've still got the full throttle because it's cool. It's cool having that fast bow. But it's a bow you rarely shoot because you shoot a bow that's easier. Okay? So I will leave you with that. The Sicario with PSE, I think it's great. I think everything's pretty good. I think the draw stops improved. The modules I feel are thicker. I feel that's good. Overall, I think it's all good. PSE are shipping these now. This bow here we ordered last week when PSE released it. It got into my shop within 7 days, which is amazing. So I've got to say that bow was not built. PSE had it in stock. We said, what bows do you have in stock? And we took what they had in stock. So it wasn't like, oh, I want this bow. That's got to be built. That's going to take 8 weeks. I said, what have you got? I will take what you've got. Okay, so anyway, with that, thanks for watching. And the more you shoot, the better you'll shoot. My son said to me, how am I going to improve my scores at the range to win on the weekend? And I was like, you can shoot morning and afternoon and you will win. That simple. Shoot more and win. The person on the weekend who won in my section, I shot in open recurve, was the person who shot the most. It's not a surprise. The person who came second was the person who shot the second most. And I'm going to say I shoot the third most in the state. Probably. And I came third, right? But it was hard conditions because of the wind and all that sort of stuff. But the better shooters are people who shoot more. It's not a secret. Just shoot more. If you want to be better, do something more than other people. Do some physical exercise. Build your strength. Build your fitness. It's all well and good having a fancy toy. It's only a fancy toy. Right? It's only a fancy toy. Don't ask me which site to buy. This guy's like, which site do I buy? I'm like, he wants to have a fancy site, so I'm going to go through the fancy sites tomorrow and suggest one to him, but it's all the same to me. Right? I'm like, well, I'll pick one that I would put on it. Same with the RS, I'll pick one that I would put on for the reasons I would have said in my videos before, but This is just fancy toy stuff. But that's amazing shooting. I'm very happy with that. And that's where he should want to get to, where he shoots and he's happy. Then you can look at all the fancy toys, but get to learn to shoot. Shoot more, get stronger, be better. Thanks for watching. Bye.